Good evening and welcome to Inmates For Change. My name is Jones. I'm the CEO of the 501c3 nonprofit Inmates For Change. Our motto is breaking the bondage of destructive thinking. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Those of you who are familiar with what we do here, thanks for coming on board. We can be reached at 312-738-1060. I'd like to tag in on today's show, beginning from the back of last show, which was breaking the cycle. And our motive here is to introduce reentry services and resources to individuals who are coming home from prison, or those who have convictions, felony convictions, I should say, in their background, and they're finding it hard to reintegrate and reassimilate back into community, family, and corporate America. Inmates for Change has been dedicated to breaking the bondage of destructive thinking by way of critical thinking skills, self-image, behavior modification, lifestyle change, self-awareness, spiritual connectedness, God consciousness, interpersonal interaction, conflict resolution, anger management, and vocational training. Tonight's show will be, how do I turn this around? Now, when we're talking with you, those viewers who are out there, the thing I'm basically speaking to, in all honesty, are individuals who are coming home or have just got home, and you're caught in the headlights of what am I to be doing with what's going on around me. So you've got your parole issue and your parole requirements. Some of you have some great parole officers. Others have some parole officers that are pretty stringent about their rules and regulations. You've got family who hasn't seen you since you left, and to be honest with you, they know who left, but they're not sure about who's coming back. Thirdly, you're against this timeline for finding employment, as well as we're expecting you to contribute around the house. So you're trying to get reconnected. You're also looking for a way to try to earn. You got this parole requirement and or probation requirement. You're also trying to find work, and it's tough out there because it seems that a policy is in place that will not hire convicted felons. So what do? This is the basis for tonight's show. Tonight's show again, how do I turn this around? Well, I'm going to tell you. The first thing we need to do is we need to remove the blame. Yes, we need to remove the blame. This is a culmination of our childhood experiences where we've had sibling rivalries. We didn't get along too well with our parents. The community wasn't too connected to us. We wasn't learning anything in school and this kind of thing. So we feel that this is all that we know, and we become what we call a product of the environment. Now, being a product of the environment means that you're going to be blaming your shortcomings. You know, I can't find work. I didn't go far in school. I've got 2 or 3 women on the side, or I've got 2 or 3 guys that I kind of date and try to work with and this kind of stuff. I'm not too good in relationships. I'm not managing my coping skills well. I have a trouble with this behavior modification piece, and my lifestyle is in a tailspin, you know. So I need to learn how to remove the blame. The first thing I need to consider is I need to decide. Nice and simple. I need to decide. And in my decision making, I need to decide how I'm going to overcome these challenges. Okay, you got all this stuff against you, but of course, you didn't get there overnight. So it's not going to be an overnight journey that you just come up out of the situation, condition, or circumstances that are surrounding you. But you can come out of it. I guarantee you that. So by removing the blame, I need to decide that I'm going to overcome the challenges. We all are kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen. We are kings and queens. And it seems to be everyone around us knows this except us. You've heard many times as a child, the elders were telling you, you know, you're a real smart kid, you know, and you'd hear it quite more than you were comfortable with. And part of that would be that was your natural you. You had a natural curiosity, you caught on real quick, you remembered things, you were respectful. So what happened? How did I get to where I am that I need to turn this thing around? I've got to turn this thing around because I need to decide to overcome these challenges because this culmination of childhood experiences, being forgotten, the forgotten child. Me personally, I'm number 3 of 4 children. And it was easy to get overlooked because the baby, the new child, was getting all the attention, and the 2 older kids were already up and out and moving around. So I'm 4 years younger than my next older sibling, and I'm 2 years older than my younger sibling. So that makes me the middle child, and the middle child gets looked over all the time. So I could have taken it as a conflict of interest for me. I'm left out. No one knows me. No one wants to know me, and I don't know how to connect and that kind of thing. I'm not even sure if I want to. So I've got to decide to overcome these challenges. And as we get to going through, I've got to learn how to build my own confidence. And sometimes I'm going to be placed in front of some people who know a lot more than I do, and I need to take a few suggestions. I need to work through a couple of options, and I need to be on the lookout for some few or maybe even plenty opportunities. If you'd like to join the conversation, we're at 312-738-1060. On another note, I want to give you a chance to contact Inmates for Change. 773-746-3075. Our website is inmatesforchange.org. We're taking emails at inmatesforchange@gmail.com. So there you have it, 773-746-3075. That's to contact Inmates for Change. The website, inmatesforchange.org, and the email, inmatesforchange@gmail. The number again here, 312-738-1060. Call in with a comment or join the conversation by way of a question. We'll be more than happy to serve you. Part of removing my blame, I need to learn how to establish a spiritual connection. Over the last show, the course of the week had passed, and an individual was asking me, is my organization a faith-based organization? And I told him no. We're conscious of a God being, and we are spiritually connected, but it's not a faith-based type of organization that you would see that would be tied to churches and that type of thing. My belief system runs along the line of the spirit. So how it moves, the indwelling spirit is who's inside me. And that's what's helping me break this bondage of my destructive thinking, as well as keeping it so that I can turn this thing around. So I need to remove the blame because I know this is a culmination of my childhood experiences. A lot of this stuff I'm not going to be able to overcome so readily because I'm not ready for it. I haven't thoroughly investigated it. I haven't taken it apart and examined every piece of it and this type of thing. So I know that I need some structure, I need some guidance, I need some mentoring, and I just need to have some patience about removing the blame. So once I remove the blame, now I can start focusing on what I need to do to get it going. Of course, I need to establish this spiritual connection. This disease of addiction, or the disease of recidivism, or the disease of disconnectedness, is a living, breathing, walking, talking spirit. So, it's over 10,000 years old. You've probably been around the planet from anywhere from 18 years to 65. I serve all types of age groups in my work when I'm working with ex-offender population. And 18 years to 65 years doesn't mean a whole lot to something that's been around 10,000 years. So that's the kind of thing that we're working up against. I need to also learn how, and when I'm focusing on how to change myself, I need to focus on that. How do I change myself? I have to stop or limit my visits to the old neighborhood. See, that's where most of our trouble starts, is at the egg, right where the area that we grew up in. We feel this undying loyalty to an area or individuals who are down in this part of the land where all our trouble seems to be originating from. And one of the first things that we want to do when we come home is touch down. We need to get back to where it is that we're from. A lot of times when you've been away, such as myself, I had been away for 2.5 years. When I came home, I didn't fit in back where I used to be hanging out at. It was just something different for me. I saw the same people, they looked the same, but I felt different. And I even got it where individuals were thinking and saying to me, hey man, you look different, and I would be asking, well, how's that? They just, I don't know, it's just something looks different about you. So I had to stop my visits down there. And believe me, I had been around on the corners for like 45 years in the same area. With that being, I was in a situation where I thought that I was leaving my friends, and I was kind of feeling kind of guilty about that. But then I had to think about it. When I was serving term, not one of those friends I had known for over 45 years, including my 50-year man, sent $1 or a letter down to the institution where I was being incarcerated. No one stopped by my home. No one stopped by my mother's house to see if Mama Jones needed some groceries or she needed to go pick up her prescription or even cut the grass or take the garbage out for her. None of those guys did that. And I found myself, just undying loyalty to going back out there to hang out with these same guys who seemed to have just forgotten about me while I was away. And then they were so glad to see me when I came home that the second thing that came out of their mouth was, let me get something from you. And I'm like, well, I've been gone 2.5 years. What are you talking about? Why do I need to give you something? And you've been out here for 2.5 years. I need to change. I need to change that. That's the point that I'm making here. We need to stop or limit our visits. We need to slowly change the people in our orbits. My 50-year friend, who was the best guy I've ever known. In some cases, he was even closer to me than my own biological brother. Because we all know that you got a best friend, there are some things that you tell those guys or girls that you don't even discuss with your family. And that's how they become best friends, because they know how to keep it between you all and they don't use it against you down the road. So the thing I had to learn was slowly changing the people. Of course, I was ready for change, and I pursued it with my life is at stake type of mindset. I didn't just try to just cavalierly follow along and then something fell on me or I tripped into something. No, I had to practice every day how to start eliminating negatives in my life and in my orbit. And what I learned to do in this focus on how to change myself, I learned how to start slowly changing the people. It takes time to build friendship. It takes even longer to build trust. And sometimes when we come home, we don't know who to trust anymore. We try to base a lot of our thinking and our actions and activity on what we used to do, but we're not necessarily the same people. We really aren't. Changes happen. If it hasn't happened to us, it will happen to someone in the family. So, those of you who are interested in making a comment or you want to ask a question, tonight's topic is how do I turn this around? My name is Jones. The phone number is 312-738-1060. While we're waiting for a call to come, let me tell you something about the focus on how to change yourself. I also need to get some books or go online for some tips. How do I improve myself? What are some of the things that people do who have made the change? I need to model myself after someone, the same way I did when I got into this life of crime, drug use, drug abuse, running in and out of these jails and penitentiaries, can't keep a job, won't stay in one fixed location, and all this type of stuff. I started learning how to run with people who were already doing what I felt that it was that I wanted to do. So it's the same way coming out. I need to do some research. I need to start learning how to find these ways to add some of these strategic thinking and proven examples of changing myself. I need to pursue my education, maybe get my GED or even my degree. And in some cases, I might need to just go back and get some vocational job training. I know this. When I came home, even having 27 years sales experience, 17 years managerial experience, ran my own business for 15 years, home improvements and remodeling. And I was a cable installation tech for 10 years. I'm professional, I'm articulate, professionally dressed, and I still could not secure gainful employment. One of the things I want to get to before we go into more on how to focus on changing ourselves is, callers, we're having some technical problems with the phones. I think it's because of the storm that we're having outside now. When you hear the beep, you can start with whatever your comment or your question may be. So 312-738-1060. Focusing on how to change myself, I know I need more education. I know I'm going to need some vocational training because I don't have the skills that they're looking for, but it's some of the work that I want to do. You know, in my day, when I was coming up, if you wanted to learn how to fix cars, you went to one of the vocational high schools. Dunbar had an excellent automotive program. There was some other things going on around the South Side, like South Shore, and me being from the South Side, I learned that if we wanted to take a trade, it would make us successful over lifetime because it was something that was transferable, something that we could do. So as I started pursuing my education, I also adapted to finding people who were already in play doing what it was that I wanted to learn how to do. And I found myself standing around those guys trying to pick up a few things. So when we started looking at how do I turn this around, we've got to seriously consider making the decision. I've got a caller on the line, and caller, please tell me who you are and whatever your comment or your question is right behind it. Go right ahead, caller. Hello. Again.
Hello?
Hey, how are you? Who are you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Go right on with your question.
Well,
Go ahead.
I want to know why parolees are not allowed to move into senior buildings with their wives when it's a HUD subsidized building.
That's a great question. And let me tell you, the question was for those of you who could not hear it. Why would people who have felony convictions be denied living in senior residences with their relatives or even be able to come over for overnight visit? I was just on the phone with a gentleman by the name of Benjamin Rudell. And Ben Rudell is going to be one of my guests in about 2 weeks or so. And he's going to help us navigate through what the procedures, the policies, and the rules are about a convicted felon not being allowed to live in public housing. Now, this is a very, very important issue, especially for those of us who have family members who want us to come into the home, but because of some unfair law that states because you're a convicted felon, you can't live here. Wait a minute. I lived here all my life, and because I made this poor decision and I went away for it and I served the term and now I'm back, now I can't live where I spent all my life, or I can't go visit a family member. In a couple of shows, I promise you, in 1 or 2 shows, Mr. Ben Rudell will be sitting right to my right here, and we'll be discussing that exact matter. So it's unfair, and that is why Inmates For Change has launched the CAN TV network show for those of us who are out here to address these issues, these concerns, and these situations that we have. Because the thing that happens the worst for us is that we are subject to this what's called invisible punishment. I'm going to take another call. Caller?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, I surely can. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, this is Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie. Go right ahead with your question or your comment.
Yeah, my question is, do you offer any resources for helping children get acclimated to having a parent back?
We do. And let me put my number up here for you, because that is a great question. I just want you to take a look right here at this number, 773-746-3075. That number is open for calls from 9:30 a.m. until 3 o'clock p.m. Monday through Friday. We offer resource services for individuals who have gone through trying to get children back into their lives, trying to get their parents back into their lives, trying to get their other loved ones back into their lives. 773-746-3075. One last time, 800-746-3075. These are some great questions, and this is a part of turning our lives around. You know, how do we turn this around? We've got to try to remedy some of the ills that are going on around us and affecting us and impacting our lives by learning some of the ways that legislation works. We need to learn how these laws work. We need to know who our alderman is. We need to start learning what organizations are in our immediate area or in some close by, somewhere that I might have to just take one bus ride to. And you'd be able to know that with the situation and resources and services that are being provided by not only Inmates for Change, but there are quite a few organizations. More than likely what we will do from our end is connect you with those resources that specialize in those services. So don't worry, Stephanie, we got you. Give us a call tomorrow and we'll be more than happy to address that issue for you. Getting back to what I was speaking on about how to focus on changing myself, I might need to get some vocational training. And I left off there with when we wanted to learn how to fix a car, we stood around the mechanic. When we wanted to learn how to frame a wall or put in a floor, that kind of thing, we got around carpenters. And when we wanted to learn how to get into sales and that type of thing, then we got around people who were professional sales representatives. This is the same kind of mentorship and sponsorship that we know that we need to do to turn this around. If you're tired of hanging out with Main Pookie Dude and them, those are just some analogies of a type of people, not necessarily. If you know a Pookie, great. If you know a Main, great. Okay? I'm just saying. I know Dude myself, you know. Dude and I grew up together. I'm saying with that is that if you're tired of that run-of-the-mill type of thing, then you need to start making a decision about turning this thing around. And you can't do it by yourself. And because you can't do it by yourself, there are organizations and there are programs as well as resources and services that are available to you. But you have to get involved. You've got to get active in activating your life. It's not going to just fall in your lap. Again, for those of you who are out there, we can be reached at 773-746-3075. The website, inmatesforchange.org. Email address is inmatesforchange@gmail.com. I want to take a moment before I close out and let you guys know that this program has been made possible in part by support from MobileDoc. As I turn this over to the last segment of the program that we're working on, how do I turn this around? Well, Jones, how did you turn this thing around? The first thing I wanted to do was I knew I didn't want to be back there on the corners again. That's what I knew. So I had to decide that either I'm going to go out there and die on those corners or I'm going to try to make a difference in my life before my time is up. So that was the decision. Secondly, I had to decide what it was I wanted to do. Now, I'm going to be 100 with you on this one. I thought I wanted to go back into home improvements and remodeling. But after sitting down for 2.5 years, I didn't have the physicality to do it. A guy hired me, man, and offered me $15 an hour. He asked me to put in 2 sinks. They were cat a corner from each other. That job would normally take about 4 hours. It took me 3 days, and I didn't even finish it. Now, you know I was in some bad shape. So I had to decide, how am I going to turn this around? And because the stuff I'm telling you right now, I learned how to stop making those visits down there to my old friends in the old neighborhood. I slowly started changing people who were in my orbit. I started hanging around these organizations where they're reaching out and helping individuals who are coming through and they don't see any kind of love happening in their lives. And I got some tips by going online and learning how to do it. Now we're coming down to the end of the show, and I want to tell you thank you so much, you callers who checked in. Those of you who can, hit us back. Don't duck us now. Hit us. 773-746-3075. One of my representatives will be more than happy to take your call, and you may even get me on the line. Every once in a while, I pick up the phone. Though I'm the founder and CEO, I don't have a problem rolling my shirt sleeves up and getting busy. So, until the next program, I want you all to stay focused. You can break this cycle, and you can turn this around. I am living proof of that you can turn this around. So, have a good night, and thank you.